Y'all, this one is wild. Grab your popcorn, cause things just took a sharp left turn in the world of Lil Durk and the streets. The fans and even the feds are all in a frenzy. What started as a mysterious leak has spiraled into one of the most shocking plot twists we've seen all year. Just days after rumors started swirling that the FBI had eyes on OTF and were quietly building a case behind the scenes, an alleged internal leak just set the internet on fire. But what's got everybody talking is not just the leak itself. It's what Lil Durk's camp just said in response. And baby, when I tell you it's not what anyone expected. Believe that sources close to Durk claim he's been betrayed by someone in his inner circle. And now there's talk of surveillance footage, secret wiretaps, and even silent cooperation deals that might have already been signed behind closed doors. Emotions are high, fans are divided, and Durk's team is finally breaking their silence, but not with an apology. With a warning, what they said is shaking the whole industry right now, and if you think you've heard everything, you haven't heard this. It all started with a whisper, just a quiet, barely noticed thread on a random forum, claiming that the feds had been tailing members of OTEs for months. At first, no one really paid attention. Folks brushed it off as just another baseless rumor in the endless sea of internet conspiracy. But then, a blurry screenshot surfaced. It looked like a redacted federal document, names blurred out, but the initials? Unmistakable LD with connections to known affiliates under ongoing surveillance. People started speculating hard. Was Lil Durk being watched? Was the entire OTS crew under a microscope? Then came the bombshell. An anonymous drop hit the dark web late at night audio clips. Heavily edited, but the voices eerily familiar. One voice sounded almost exactly like Durk. Another, even more disturbing, sounded like someone from his own circle. A voice fans believed belonged to a longtime friend and OTF member. In the audio, the voices talked about keeping things quiet, watching the moves, and if the feds come, we play dumb. Just vague enough to not be evidence, but just real enough to set social media on fire. Twitter erupted. TikTok detectives went into overdrive. Fans flooded comment sections. Durk snitching. Who leaked this? About to crumble. And while all this chaos brewed online, Durk remained silent. Dead silent. Number stories, no tweets, no cryptic quotes on Instagram. Just nothing. And in that silence, the noise got louder. Behind the scenes, things weren't any calmer. According to someone close to the situation, a hairstylist, who had recently worked with Durk's baby mama, the energy in the room had shifted. She claimed the entire crew seemed on edge, constantly checking their phones, whispering, even arguing in hushed tones. And that wasn't the worst of it. A fight allegedly broke out between two OTF affiliates in an Atlanta studio just days after the leak. Sources say one of them accused the other of being the mole, the one feeding info to outsiders. What started as a shouting match turned physical. Punches were thrown, equipment was smashed, and one of the engineers ended up quitting mid-session. The drama was boiling over, and Durk was nowhere to be seen, but the silence didn't last forever. 3 days after the studio fight, Durk's team finally made a move. They didn't go to the blogs. They didn't do an interview. They went straight to Instagram through a mysterious post, shared on a private burner account that fans quickly connected to one of Durk's close managers. The post read, "Not everything that leak is real. Some of y'all playing with fire. Watch who you talk to. Watch who you trust. This ain't no rap cap. Paperwork don't lie, but fake paperwork do." The internet exploded. Everyone was asking, was this a denial? A threat? A warning to someone on the inside? And then things got even messier. A verified user known for breaking celebrity gossip dropped a DM screenshot allegedly from someone close to Durk's camp. In the message, it said, "He already know who talking. He just letting it play out. Snakes always show they face when they hungry." And just like that, betrayal narrative took center stage. People started dissecting EDF's movements over the last few months. Who stopped posting with Durk? Who unfollowed who? One name kept coming up. Reese, a longtime Odd affiliate who hadn't been seen publicly with Durk in weeks. Fans noticed he removed all photos of Durk from his page. He stopped liking Durk's posts. And when the leak hit, dead silence from Reese to Dut. Speculation turned into suspicion, and suspicion turned into accusations. People were now convinced Reese was the leak. Meanwhile, Durk's baby mama India got caught in the crossfire too. During an Instagram live, someone asked her directly about the rumors. She rolled her eyes and said, "I don't speak on clown stuff. If you know, you know. That's all I'ma say." The comment didn't help. In fact, it fueled the fire. Fans now believed she knew something, maybe even who the snitch was. And that's when things started to get personal. A close friend of Reese, someone who used to hang with the OTF crew regularly, went live and broke the silence. He didn't name names, but he said enough to shake the table. "This ain't just no street beef burr," he said. "This federal. They've been watching. Y'all think it's a game till them indictments start flying." And the crazy part, the call was coming from inside the house. Every word felt like gasoline on an already burning fire. Fans were now deep into theory mode. Was Reese really the mole? And if that wasn't enough, a new piece of the puzzle dropped: a short clip from security cam footage outside a known OTF studio. Timestamped just 2 nights after the leak. In the grainy footage, a black SUV pulled up fast. 3 men jumped out, one of them waving his arms, clearly arguing. The others tried to calm him down. But the moment that froze fans was when one of them pulled something from his waistband. Not a gun, but a phone, and shoved it in the other guy's face, yelling what looked like, "You said too much." Fans went into freeze-frame mode, analyzing every angle, every blurry face. People swore up and down that the angry man was Reese. Others weren't sure. But one thing was clear: there was beef inside the camp, and it was bubbling over. Meanwhile, someone close to Durk's cousin posted a vague tweet that said, "Ain't no loyalty when clout pay better than silence." And that's when people really started to believe this wasn't just a case of outside interference. This was an inside job. And worse, it might have been personal. Now the question wasn't just who leaked to the feds. It was why. And just when people thought they had it all figured out, something happened that nobody expected. A new voice came forward. This time, it wasn't from someone in Durk's immediate circle, but it was someone who had been around long enough to know things the public didn't. A former tour DJ, who had worked with OTF during the backdoor tour, popped up on a podcast and dropped what many are calling the realist. "Rawest confession yet, I ain't gon' lie," he said, looking dead into the camera. That energy been weird since the Vegas show. People wasn't dapping up like usual. Phones was getting put in other rooms. Durk started having private convos in the whip before even walking into venues. That's not normal. That's paranoia. He went on to claim that back in July, Durk had canceled 2 studio sessions last minute, not because of scheduling issues, but because someone close to him kept asking too many questions. I ain't naming names, but when somebody asks, who was all there last time, and they ain't even pull up themselves, that's red flag behavior. Durk peeped it. As soon as the clip hit social media, fans lost it. The DJ didn't say names, but the clues? They lined up too well. Once again, fingers pointed back to Reese. People started saying Durk had already figured it out months ago, that this leak just gave him the confirmation he needed. But what happened next flipped everything. The very next morning, Reese went live. No filter, No script, no holding back. Double quotes, yo. Let me talk to y'all real quick, he started, clearly agitated. I've been sitting back, letting folks lie on my name, throw dirt, make up fairy tales, and I'm done with that. Y'all trying to make me out to be some kind of rat or snitch. Come on, bro. If I was working with the feds, you think I'd still be walking around? His comments only stirred the pot more. Fans flooded the live with comments, some defending him, others calling him out. He got visibly emotional at one point, wiping his face and shaking his head. I gave years to this. Years, stood on 10. Never switched up. But y'all love drama more than facts. Durk know what it is. He got my number. If it's smoke, call me. Stop with the sneak posts, the cryptic messages. Stand on what you say. As if on cue, right after Reese ended his live, Durk posted a single photo on his story. It was just text on a black screen. It read, "Funny how folks only find their voice when the pressure on." Boom. Social media went nuclear. Now, the entire internet was watching this unfold like it was an episode of Power. Fans took sides. The Durk camp stayed quiet after that, but people close to him, bloggers, fan pages, even a few influencers started dropping hints that something big was coming. Some claimed Durk's legal team was already taking action behind the scenes. One even said a cease and desist letter had been sent to someone affiliated with the leak, though no one could confirm who that was. And just when everyone thought the drama had peaked, it got even worse. A well-known Chicago blogger leaked what they claimed was an internal OddFee group chat screenshot. The chat had messages between 4 members, one of whom was allegedly Reese, though the names were blurred. In the chat, someone wrote, "He just waiting. He told me straight up, I ain't crashing out. I'm watching the plays." Another responded, "Let that boy talk. He digging his own grave." Fans were shook. The whole vibe felt like a war was brewing behind the scenes, a slow burn that could explode at any moment. But then came a twist no one saw coming. Someone dug up old footage from a podcast interview Durk did earlier this year. In it, he was asked about loyalty and trust in the industry. And his answer? Eerily prophetic. "Man, loyalty don't exist like it used to," he said. "Everybody love you when it's money and bottles. But the moment you fall back, the snakes get loud. That's why I don't keep my circle big no more. Too many rats in expensive clothes." Fans started replaying that clip like a prophecy. Some even edited it with dramatic music, flashing images of Reese, the feds. The burner posts painting Durk like a man who saw the betrayal coming from a mile away. But then came the real shocker. Out of nowhere, a woman claiming to be Reese's ex-girlfriend posted a long story thread on Twitter, and she did not hold back. She alleged that Reese had recently become obsessed with his phone, taking late-night calls outside, acting sketchy, and even once telling her, "They gon' blame me for something I ain't do." She also claimed she overheard a conversation where he said, "They already think it's me, so F*** it." Her posts went viral in under an hour. People were calling her the key witness. Others said she was clout chasing. But her final tweet is what hit the hardest. "I ain't saying he's snitching, but I am saying he ain't innocent either." Suddenly, the narrative shifted again. Maybe it wasn't Reese who leaked. Maybe he just knew who did. And maybe he stayed quiet to protect someone. And here's where the story gets even darker. Rumors started surfacing that Durk had hired a private investigator. Not a street guy, not a manager, a legit pie. According to a source close to one of Durk's lawyers, he wanted to track the origin of the audio leak, trace the IP addresses, and find out exactly who uploaded it to the dark web. And guess what? A tech blogger dropped a video the next day claiming that one of the files was uploaded from an Atlanta area cafe, the same block where Reese was last spotted on his story, just 2 weeks ago. Coincidence? Maybe. But fans weren't buying it. People started piecing together a timeline, posting graphics, full-blown YouTube breakdowns. It was like hip-hop CC at this point. Every little detail was getting dissected. But while the internet obsessed over clues, Durk's team moved in silence. And then, out of nowhere, his manager made a rare appearance on Clubhouse, and what he said had jaws dropping. "We know more than we sang," he told the room. "Folks think they playing chess, but they ain't even on the board. Just know, we keeping receipts, and when it's time, everything coming out." The room went dead silent after that. No questions, just tension. And that's how things stood for a minute. Tension, distrust, rumors, and a camp on edge. And then Durk finally broke his silence. Not with an interview, not on Instagram, but during a surprise appearance at a private listening party in La. Someone leaked audio from his speech, and in it, he said, "I've been through too much to fold now. Too much to lose. I know who with me. I know who ain't." The real always gone reveal itself. And with that, fans knew this wasn't over. In fact, the storm was just beginning. After Durk's mysterious comment at a reporter in Atlanta covering local crime posted that 2 unmarked vehicles had been spotted regularly outside a known OTF affiliate's home. She didn't name names, but eagle-eyed fans compared street signs in the background of her beer roll footage, and sure enough, it was in the exact area Reese had filmed one of his last IG stories. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the feds weren't just listening. They were moving. Meanwhile, Durk stayed active in ways that only added more fuel to the fire. He dropped a snippet of a new song on his Finsta, and the lyrics: "Straight fire. Seen the snake before it hissed. Now I'm dancing with a case. They ain't come from out the streets. They was snitchin' from they face." Within an hour, the snippet was everywhere. Fans were dissecting every bar, convinced it was aimed directly at Reese. One fan tweeted, "If this track drops, OTF might not ever be the same again." But the music wasn't even the biggest headline. A woman, who claimed to have worked as Durk's personal assistant for over a year, dropped a TikTok that nearly broke the internet. In it, she didn't name anyone, but she painted a picture so messy, so chaotic. It had everyone spinning. There were days where Durk would cancel whole sessions, she said. Not because of music issues, because someone in the room gave him bad vibes. Like he knew something was off. One time he left mid-recording because someone he didn't trust walked in. She added, "I seen messages." Not saying they were feds. But someone was definitely forwarding convos to an unknown number. And here's where the plot thickened. This same assistant hinted at a famous female rapper being somehow connected to the mess. She didn't say names, but fans instantly jumped to conclusions, linking this mystery woman to someone Durk had previously collaborated with, someone whose team has ties to high-ranking industry lawyers. So now the theories got wild. Was this deeper than a personal betrayal? Was this an orchestrated move to break down OTF from the inside? And just when it felt like nothing else could be revealed, Reese's cousin broke his silence. He hopped on live, looking tired, emotional, and straight up angry. "Look, I ain't gone. Let y'all keep dragging my cousin like this," he said. "I don't care who mad. Durk, my boy too. Always been solid with me, but this whole thing been blown out of control. People making threats, posting half-truths, and y'all acting like Reese Dunn turned into 6ix9ine in overnight." But then, he slipped while defending Reese. He said, "Bro been trying to get ahead of this from the jump. He told me weeks ago that they was gon' pin this on him, no matter what. Said 'cause he don't be around as much, they think he doing dirt." Fans immediately caught that. Wait, why would Reese need to get ahead of anything? Unless he knew something bad was coming. The comments blew up. People demanded answers. But instead of clarifying, the cousin ended the live suddenly, leaving more questions than answers. And then came the tipping point. A major rap blogger released a leaked phone call, allegedly between a former OTF crew member and someone tied to Durk's label. The call, muffled but mostly clear, had one person saying, "They already know who did it. But if Durk moved too fast, makes him look guilty. This gotta be surgical. This gotta be surgical." Those 4 words echoed across social media like a warning shot, and fans knew this wasn't just about music anymore. This was about legacy. About survival, inside sources claimed Durk had been meeting privately with legal teams, prepping for worst-case scenarios. Not just for himself, but for anyone in OTF tied to the alleged federal probe. Some even said he was considering stepping away from the spotlight, not forever, but just long enough to let the heat cool down. But then came another bombshell. An unreleased OTF track leaked online. And the lyrics were savage. "Told my mama watch, who praying for me, devils wearin' OTF chains, trying to stay close to me." That line hit fans like a punch in the gut. Was Durk really accusing someone from the inside of working against him? Not just in the streets, but spiritually? Suddenly, this wasn't just about snitching. This was about energy, betrayal, war, and at the heart of it all, silence. No interviews, no public explanations, just vibes, warnings, and increasingly pointed lyrics. Fans began to wonder, was Durk about to pull a full Kanye and go ghost? Or was he playing the longest game possible, setting up a move so powerful it would expose everything? Meanwhile, whispers kept growing louder. The Pi reportedly uncovered new information that tied the audio leak to an external device, something handed off at a listening session earlier this year in Houston. Sources claimed the footage from that night was gone, wiped from the venue's hard drives. But one blurry screenshot allegedly showed someone face half covered, slipping a USB into their hoodie. And guess what? Some fans said the build of the person looked exactly like Reese. Others weren't convinced. They said it could have been anyone, maybe even someone sent in to make it look like Reese. One fan tweeted, "They trying to scapegoat this man. Reese might be the fall guy, but who really planted the trap?" And that was the scariest theory of all. What if this whole thing wasn't just about one man flipping? What if this was a setup from the start? What if this whole thing wasn't just about one man flipping? What if this was a setup from the start? As fans and insiders tried to piece it together, another angle started to emerge, one that changed the tone of the conversation completely. Some began saying that Reese wasn't the villain. He might have been the pawn. A scapegoat in a much bigger chess game, one designed not just to fracture OTF, but to control it, according to a Chicago insider who used to work with ETF's former distribution team. Tension had been growing not just between members, but between the label and outside forces. Money was going missing. Contracts were getting shady. Someone with reach allegedly had motive to tear Durk's operation down from the inside. And what better way to do that than start with the foundation? And just when people were trying to wrap their heads around that theory, a new player entered the chat, a known Atlanta-based industry consultant who had worked with multiple labels, including ones tied to Durk's earlier deals, made a slick, not-so-subtle post. It was just one sentence, but it rocked the internet. When street beef turns into corporate sabotage, y'all better start watching who signs the checks. Fans were shook. They started going back through old business moves, old deals, remembering that back in 2021, Durk had a very public split from a certain executive after some rumored disagreements about ownership and branding. Nobody thought much of it back then, just business as usual. But now, it all looked different. What if the betrayal wasn't just coming from the crew, but from the suits? Meanwhile, Durk's silence was starting to speak volumes. The last time he had this kind of media blackout was after King Von's passing, a moment that changed everything for him. And now, here he was again. Locking in, going quiet, letting the world talk while he moved like a ghost behind the scenes. But behind that silence, things were boiling according to a close source, someone who worked security for Durk at a previous tour stop. Durk wasn't just sitting back. He was documenting, collecting, building something. Not for social media, not for the blogs, but for when the time was right. He ain't playing the internet game, the source said. He playing real-life chess. And when he show his hand, folks gon' be exposed for real. Meanwhile, rumors kept swirling about the FBI leak. Some believed it wasn't even about Reese or OTF, that the audio was just bait. Planted a distraction from the real investigation that had... But then, just when the theories got wildest, Reese reappeared after nearly 2 weeks of silence. He popped up on a live, not in his usual spot, not with chains on, not flexing. He was sitting in a dark room, hoodie on, voice low, and his first words, "They tryna erase me." He looked exhausted. Not scared, but tired. Defeated, almost. And for the first time, he didn't defend himself. He didn't deny. Instead, he told a story. He said he had been followed, that someone broke into his rental car 2 nights before, that he'd received texts from unknown numbers warning him to stay quiet or it gets worse. He didn't say who. He didn't even mention Durk's name. But the energy? Heavy. You can take the music. Take the fame. Just don't take my name. That's all I got, he said, eyes not even looking into the camera. Then he ended the live with one word: watch. And that's when everything shifted. Because now it wasn't just about leaks and lyrics. This was about fear. And fans felt it. Even those who clowned Reese before started pulling back. People were wondering, had this gone too far? But Durk, once again, didn't respond. Not directly. Instead, the next move came from his music, out of nowhere. Durk dropped a surprise trailer for an upcoming short film titled Paper Trail. No features, no promo. Just a black and white teaser with audio clips layered from news reports. Distorted voices and one line from Durk himself: "I trusted you." And that was my mistake. The trailer ended with a slow pan of a burning feed chain. Fans lost it. They called it genius. Some said it was a diss. Others thought it was a funeral for what used to be. Theories flew again. Was Paper Trail going to expose everything? Would he name names? Drop footage? Tell the story from his side? But the final twist came from someone nobody expected: India. Durk's ex and the quiet queen of indirect shade posted a single tweet. It said, "If the world knew half of what I know, y'all would delete y'all opinions." No context, no emojis, no tag. And yet, it said everything. Fans instantly started connecting dots again. Had India seen the real documents? Had she warned Durk months ago? Was she trying to send a message?